Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. Happy New Year! We are officially entering 2022. So before we dive into the energies for 2022, for the collective and for each life path number, this is just a reminder that this is a great time for you to order your own personal year ahead numerology forecast. I will leave the link in the description box below if that's something that you're interested in, but it's a great resource to see what the upcoming energies may hold for you. So as we wave goodbye to the universal 5 energy that had us shifting gears and changing directions so much that our worlds were often spinning all over the place, we now step into the more nurturing, domestic, and community-centered energy of the 6. 2022 is a 6 universal energy. So this cycle, this energy, is going to ask us to take into consideration the greater community and the good of all as we make our decisions and choose our actions. This is not an energy solely focused on self. The energy of 2020 sort of broke the foundations and forced us to be more isolated and reflective. The energies of 2021 were more about exploration and authenticity while building our personal worlds in a way that sort of is much more open-minded and adaptable to change. Now, 2022 is asking us to broaden our scope as we rebuild the world we want to experience while taking the collective into consideration. So what does this new world, that we're emerging into need that benefits more than just ourselves, but rather is inclusive of the needs of Mother Earth and all of her inhabitants? This is a cycle where divisiveness will no longer work. People are tired of the separation, and the energy is incredibly supportive for people to wake up and fully choose to build the bridges necessary to begin reuniting with friends, family, community, and the greater world at large. Regardless of how many people there are that still choose to cling to the old ways and who attempt to keep burning down those bridges, more and more people are going to sort of feel the need or the compulsion or the urge to move into a higher octave now and release the burdens of separation and chaos. There will always be polarities. We live in a world and a universe of polarities. However, for evolution to occur, we cannot remain in one extreme very long. The pendulum will always swing. And so on a more personal level, collectively, we will be seeing the influences of the 6 with an emphasis on home, life, relationships, and creativity. So again, we'll see that collectively, but also individually. So this can be a cycle when many changes take place within your home environment. Perhaps you change residence. Maybe people move in or out of your home at this time. You may do some remodeling. You may see changes within your physical home, your body. This can be a time when you undergo some major physical transformations, body, mind, and spirit. Creativity, you may see new inspirations come in this year that allow you to express yourself like never before and that ignite the fire within, bringing a renewed sense of balance, joy, and excitement into the world and the world around you. So what inspires you? Do more of that. Allow that flame to ignite and carry you places and inner depths that you never imagined yourself going to. Embrace your inner child and allow them to lead you uninhibited towards the unbridled joy. This is a year to absolutely say yes to what makes you happy without shame, without feeling the need to apologize for that happiness, even if others don't understand or even if they're shocked by your choices. Happiness and inspiration are contagious, so don't restrict how much of it you create for yourself, allow, within your life, and how much of that you share. This is an energy where we can see more people needing our help, our services, and our support at this time. You may see people coming out of the woodwork needing you at this time. Friends, family, loved ones, community members, clients, and so on. If we're capable of offering that support, then we will benefit from that circulation of energy. However, if we are not in the space physically, mentally, or spiritually to be able to meet those needs, then we must know when to set healthy boundaries and say no. This is very important because under the sixth energy, it can be very easy to sort of fall into martyrdom, which can lead to resentment, anger, frustration, and we sort of fall into a lower vibration then. This can be an energy where it's like you almost feel the urge to help people sort of to an extreme, if that makes sense. It's like where you're sacrificing yourself for another to be happy, which, that just doesn't work in the long run. That's not sustainable. And so just be mindful of that. Make sure that you're keeping your equilibrium and your balance, and that you are first checking in with self to make sure that your cup is full before you are able to sort of meet those requirements or those needs of others. There's no shame in that. And it's actually recommended so that so it's a more sustainable energy. If we get to the point where we are feeling taken advantage of, we need to understand that there came a point where we should have said no. When we choose to say yes to things that we are not capable of supplying or meeting the requirements or the needs of, then we are self-sabotaging ourselves and sort of sabotaging the other person as well, whether we mean to or not. And so again, it's really, really important to make sure that we are setting those healthy boundaries, saying yes when we're capable of saying yes, saying no when we are not capable of saying yes. So if you see yourself starting to fall into those lower vibrations when it comes to offering or sharing your time, your energy, and your resources with others, please realize your cup is no longer full and it's time to replenish you before you step back into that role. And if somebody doesn't understand your need for self-care, then chances are they were only interested in your endless availability and accommodations. And perhaps it's a connection that's no longer serving you, and it's time for that relationship to expire or to create some distance for the time being while you rejuvenate yourself. So overall, this sixth cycle of 2022 can be incredibly beautiful, loving, rewarding, and a very creative period. This is such lovely, softer, nurturing energy from the last couple of years. But as always, in order to get the most out of this cycle, we must continue to maintain our own peace and harmony, even when that means having those difficult conversations to set those necessary healthy boundaries. So, okay, let's take a look now at the overall upcoming energy for your particular life path number. Life path 33-6. And so I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got chameleon spirit. And so chameleon's message to you for 2022 is to stay in the background and adapt to the situation rather than attempting to direct the course of events. So I have a feeling that throughout this year, there's going to be a lot that you're going to need to be the observer of and not to get overly involved in, unless you can sort of do so in a way that is harmonizing and bringing people together, which with your energy would not be a problem. But also releasing the need to control the situation, whatever the situation might be, to have some level of surrender to whatever this is, and to realize that we don't have control over everything, and we need to be very mindful of not sort of restricting the energy around what it is that we don't have control over when we try to control it. You see what I'm saying? Because when we try to control the situation, we constrict or restrict the energy, and so it creates a funnel so that only the things that we feel we deserve or are worthy of can come through, as opposed to that coming through which we actually are worthy of and actually deserve. And so there's going to be times, and it could be around family, friends, relationships, self, whatever, creating boundaries, whatever, where you just need to recognize what you do have control over and what you can sort of decide on and what you don't have control over. And release what you don't have control over so that you're not stressing about it and you're not creating anxiety where it's unnecessary. So really this energy is going to be about sort of, again, being the observer, blending into the background, taking it all in, pulling from the experience what is most useful and beneficial for you to be able to move forward and do what you need to do, as opposed to getting involved in every situation, trying to fix the situation or make it better or whatever the case can be, because all that's going to do is deplete your energy. So this really kind of comes back to being very, discriminatory against where you invest your energy and how you participate. And even those things that you do participate in, be very observant of the situation before you choose to become a part of the situation. I think that's going to be really, really important for you throughout this year. Okay, so I broke down 2022 into 4 quarters, and we're going to take a look at each quarter and see what the energies could potentially hold. So the first quarter, I'm seeing a lot of emotion around money. So this can be really positive emotion, like a lot of resources, money coming into you, you feeling very secure in your situation, you having built a situation where, again, you have resources to support you and you're managing your money well, and all of that. Or these can be emotions around mismanaging your money and dealing with those consequences. And it doesn't have to just be money, it can be resources or anything sort of in the physical material plane that we sort of use to, live and function in this 3D world. So again, I feel like money is going to be on your mind, or resources, and you have the potential to actually build yourself a nice secure foundation when it comes to money, resources this first quarter. You just have to be very wise about how you invest that money or circulate that money or use that money. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to fall to extremes. You don't want to fall into deprivation, and you don't want to fall into excess either. There's really going to be this energy of finding your happy medium when it comes to your resources and money this first quarter. But you have the potential to really do quite well this first quarter when it comes to finances, to resources. That could be you also doing things that really ignite your passion, and maybe doing something on the side, right? Like if you're an artist, maybe you're a CEO during the day and then you're an artist at night, or whatever, right? Or maybe you're an artist during the day and then at night you go and play in a band or something and make some extra money that way, or whatever. But there's just this energy of it not feeling like an obligation, but rather like you feeding your spirit through whatever this is and making money that way. So it feels very aligned for you as well. But also there is that side of it where it could be the emotional frustration around money if you've been mismanaging those funds, or if you've been mismanaging those funds, or if things are kind of popping up where you have more output than you have input type thing, and that can create stress. So it's just going to be, I think this first quarter is going to be about really trying to work on getting your finances situated. And again, it doesn't just have to be finances, but that's really what's kind of coming in strongly, is money, and getting that. It could be your relationship with money as well. And I know I say this in a lot of readings, but it's amazing how much your relationship to money can change the dynamic when it comes to money, right? If you have a fear mentality around lack, then any money that comes in, you would hoard and potentially fall into deprivation. And then you're not fully living and using that money to its greatest use because you're not circulating that money. There's a fear associated with it. So the energy changes around that relationship. So this can really be around your relationship to money and how that's actually impacting your your reality. So you may have to take a closer look at that as well and make some adjustments there. The second quarter of 2022, I'm really seeing this energy of some kind of very desired offer coming in. This is something that maybe you've been wanting for a while. It could be around anything, because again, it's a general reading, but this is some kind of emotional offer coming in for you, but it feels like one that you've been sort of wishing for, really hoping for, and now it's showing up, and it's showing up quite quickly, actually. This is something that kind of might take you by surprise. Like maybe it was unexpected, maybe you had given up on it, and now all of a sudden it's resurfaced and it's ready to go. It's here for the taking type thing. So maybe you, I don't know, reached out to somebody several months ago and you thought that it kind of had fallen by the wayside. And now all of a sudden it resurfaces in a really big, profound way during the second quarter. But this feels very much like very welcomed. This is something that you've been looking forward to, wanting, wishing for, putting effort into manifest. And maybe you had given up on it a little bit, but I feel like it's going to come in roaring and ready to tango. So beautiful, beautiful energy here. But yeah, some kind of offer. This could be you making an offer as well. So if this is something like an offer that you've been wanting to make for a while, but something's been holding you back from doing that, I feel like you're going to feel like you have the green light to do it now. And you're going to feel that motivation and that desire to do so. And that's going to make the difference. And so now you feel ready and prepared to make this offer, whatever that is. And I feel like it's going to be very well received. And I feel like it's like you crossing the threshold from sort of stagnation into forward momentum, whatever that is. But this is emotionally rewarding for all involved, whatever this is. So yeah, sometime within that second quarter is when I feel like that's going to be coming in. So definitely take advantage of that. The third quarter for you all, this is interesting because I feel like you're going to have, and this could be related to that second quarter when that offer comes in. I feel like you're going to have all of a sudden like a million choices, like a lot of things to choose from. And that can be exciting, but that can also be overwhelming. It's kind of like you went from like having a couple options to having many options. And like I said, that can be exciting, but that can also feel very overwhelming. And so this is one of those things where it's like you really need to lean into your inner knowing and make sure that the decisions that you're making and the choices that you're making at this time in this third quarter are aligned with your integrity and your inner knowing, and that you're not entirely caught up with ego, right? So it's kind of like things that might seem shiny on the outside can be sort of stale on the inside type thing. So what I'm trying to say is like, don't take something at like face value. Really lean into this and see, why am I wanting whatever this is? Why am I making this particular choice? I have all these things to choose from. So why do I want this and this and this? It's kind of like if you need resources and all of a sudden there's like an opportunity to choose those resources, but instead of those resources, there's also this one-time, I don't know, let's put it this way. Maybe there's an opportunity for like something that has stability and longevity when it comes to resources, but then there's also this like get rich quick scheme thing that you need to take your chances on. This is one of those ones where it's like, you really need to feel into it because one is not better than the other. Sometimes the get rich scheme is actually great. It can actually work out really in your favor, but sometimes it doesn't. Same thing with the longevity thing. Just because something promises to be stable and, sustainable, it isn't always, because things are always changing. The energy is always moving. So you just need to go beyond the illusion, the face value of these decisions, these choices, these options, and really feel into which one speaks most directly to you and your soul, and then kind of make your decisions from there. And there are no wrong decisions, because every choice you make is going to take you down a path that's going to hold value for you in some way or another. So there is no wrong decision, My point is, make these decisions from a place of emotional maturity where you're really taking the time to feel into it. You're not letting your, just your wild emotions drive your decision, right? You're sort of not being completely impulsive with whatever this is, but you're really putting some thought and feeling into making these decisions, because I feel like these decisions can be long lasting. We can always change direction, but of course we're still going to have to deal with consequences can be good and bad, right? There are good consequences and bad consequences. And from our choices, we're going to have a little bit of both. And so we'll have to deal with those before we can redirect, right? So my point is impulsivity at this time, it would be probably one of those things that might bite you down the road. So I would say take your time in making these decisions, make sure that they feel aligned for you and that you've really given it some thought and feeling, like really feel into it, follow your intuition. Then the fourth quarter, I'm seeing this energy around, there's something here where you really need to shift your focus. Let's put it this way, it's like something falls away, or some things fall away, which happens in life, right? That's just part of the cycle of life. So something falls away, and there's where you may have a tendency to get caught up in what's not working, what has not worked, what has failed, quote unquote failed, because there's no failures, but perhaps you've been redirected in a different way, but you're caught up on the redirection. You're caught up on the why did this happen to me? Why did this fall away? Why did this person leave? Why did whatever the case may be? And you're so caught up in that you're missing the new opportunity. So this is, again, one of those things where it's like you just need to shift your focus. Deal with whatever comes up for you, whatever emotions around this is, but don't stay there. Like, don't let it hold you back from moving on to the next opportunity, because it's falling away for a reason. Whatever is falling away, whatever didn't work for a reason. There was a reason why it didn't work. That's the thing. It's like, if you look back at your life in hindsight, a lot of times we're so thankful that we didn't get what we asked for, or that something didn't work out the way that we wanted it to work out, because it was a lesson and not something that was meant to stay long term. So, and we pull the wisdom from it, and that's what we move forward with. So when we get caught up in the why this didn't work or whatever, we're missing out on what is working and what has more potential to work. So really there's just this need this fourth quarter for like a shift in perspective here. If there's something or things that didn't work out or that fell away, let them fall. Deal with whatever emotions come up for you around that, but then turn and start to move forward. Don't stay there. I think that's going to be really, really important. Give it the time that it deserves. Honor it the way that you need to honor it. But understand that there's going to be potentially a time when you look back on this and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that fell away. Or, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that didn't work out. So in the moment, we don't really see it, but down the road, we will. And then as soon as you're able to move on from that, then there's things to celebrate. There's a lot of joy coming in at that point. So just remember around that fourth quarter to be very aware of your focus and what you're focused on. If you're solely focused on the negativity and what didn't work, that you're going to get stuck there, and it's not going to serve you. And so again, deal with it the way that you need to deal with it, and then move on to the next chapter. And all the while being the observer through this experience, because again, that's where you're going to get the most insight. It's like when we're dialed in and we're right in the midst of it, it's hard to see what's really going on. Whereas if we can pull back and be the observer, now we're able to see the bigger picture. We will be able to understand more clearly, okay, this is why this is happening, or this is why this didn't happen, or whatever the case may be. Even if we don't agree with it in the moment, we're releasing the need to control. We're releasing the need to have all the answers and stop assuming that we know exactly what we need or are deserving of or are worthy of. So this is going to be a transformative year, I think, for you all, but in a beautiful way. Again, I think this is going to be an opportunity for you to really get your finances in order, for you to, your resources in order, see some really emotionally fulfilling opportunities coming in for you, some big decisions to be made this year, some things potentially falling away or not working exactly the way that you maybe wanted them to work, but you coming to terms with that and understanding that that is happening for a reason, for a good reason. So, powerful year for you all ahead. If you would like your own personal reading based on your own personal numerology chart for the year ahead forecast, please book that with me. My information is in the description box below, and this is a perfect time to do it as we begin this new year. Take care, everyone. I will see you all again soon. Bye for now.